Awesome. So welcome to the December 6th SASO University group call. We're going to be focusing on the full social media strategy breakdown. So any questions you guys have, as always, interrupt me. This is more for you than it is for me. But that being said, we will go ahead and jump in. So we're going to be covering, as I put on the group call, basically start to finish, how to set up, start, scale your social media strategy. What this will do is it will allow you to attract leads borderline daily. I don't want to say 100% daily, but on a very consistent basis. It will allow you to retarget old leads, and it will allow you to prepare your creative, your copy, your messaging, your targeting for your actual paid advertisement. Because as much as I love social media, the paid route is obviously going to scale it very, very, very quickly. And so we're going to explain why we do it in this order, why we don't jump directly into ads, and the full breakdown. Everything I'm going to show you, by the way, is 100% free. So I'm going to show you 100% free how to do all of this. You do not need to pay a single cent on any editing software. You guys know in the community I talk about using Descript and Squadcast. You can 100% use those. It's a much faster feature, but I'm going to show you also the free way to do it. All right. And as always, if you guys have questions, interrupt me because this is for you guys. So this is not the full one, but this is going to be the commencing roots of the full social media strategy. So what you're seeing here is you have, and the way that I'm going to break this down is I'm going to break it down in terms of actionable items, like deliverables, because I think that's going to paint the picture of why we do what we do a little bit better. In other content, I've kind of said, hey, here's the idea and then the deliverables. Today, I'm going to flip it just to give you guys some action items. So what we're going to do is, obviously, the goal of whatever content we make is very, very, very simple. It is to push to the funnel, right? We're not making content to make content. We're making content to drive to the funnel, right? And for the record, because I also like to create some of this content and direct some of this content to people who also have like not purchased high level yet, I'm putting form and or funnel because I kid you not, you can make a Google form for free and you can drive leads to a Google form where when they fill out that information, it goes to your Google Sheet, which this can all be done for free. And then you can get notifications about when the sheet updates via Google. And you can message them either with an email, with a text, whatever, because they are basically consenting about giving you their information, right? You can also push them to your social media and have the form basically go to their social media where they have to DM you there. So you really don't need to be in high level. Of course, high level is going to make your life so much easier. It is night and day difference. However, you don't have to 100%. So this is going to be the overall flow. Let me slide this down. Great. Okay. So what you're going to see is you're going to see daily, weekly, monthly, and by demand responsibilities. So super simple. Daily, you do them every day. Weekly, you do them every week. Monthly, you do them every month. By demand is you do them as they come in. So as a task comes in, which I'll show you, you will do it as it comes in or within a certain amount of time, right? So if somebody DMs you, you have 24 hours to respond kind of thing, right? Obviously, responsive action is better. So what we're going to do, I'm going to work backwards. So monthly, you are going to create a YouTube VSL. The YouTube VSL is going to basically be a Google document. That is it. I have some copywriting stuff in SASO University, the folders, which I'll move over all the old to the new stuff so you guys can have it before the call ends. But it is in there on how to craft your case study. So with the VSL, you're going to do a Google document. We do a Google document because this becomes a dynamic lead magnet. What does that mean? That means that it can update in live time. If I send you a PDF of a Word document, if I send you a screenshot, if I send you a link to if I like save a Canva template and send it over to you, those do not update in live time. If you have access to any one of my documents, there's a reason why they're in Google. Number one, I'm lazy. Number two, it is free. And number three, if I change even a period, it changes not only for me, but for you. So that means that as I update things, you also get the update. You are never having to wait. You're never having to say, let me get another one, right? It is in live time. I can also manage who has access. So right now, certain documents are visible to anyone who has a link. I could turn that off right away and have it fully restricted. I could make it restricted just to people in my organization. I could make it restricted just to people on an email list, right? So you can limit who has access to it. Even if they have the link, it doesn't matter. Now, in the document, you're going to have two types of content that we have referred to in the past, and I'm going to explain to them how to do both of them. We have a VSL and we have status delta. Okay. No matter what we do, let me get another shape or another rectangle going on. No matter what we do, the content layout that we have goes in this order: problem, agitation, frame, old way bad, new way good, call to action. These are the core pillars of what goes into the content. I do not care what anyone tells you about tips and tricks, about TikTok trends. We are not trying to grow our audience. Well, I'm going to say it again because a lot of people go, wait, what do you mean? We're not trying to grow our audience. If I take 1 million followers and I multiply that times a 0% conversion rate, what am I going to have? I'm going to have 0, right? Before and yes, so before and after pictures of things. Yes, that is why the fitness industry, if you look at the fitness industry, they are like the leading driver for a lot of content. So the question becomes, Naman, how can we translate basically, like, if you really want like the low and dirty version of it, how can we make our content similar in terms of the effect and effectiveness of influencer when it comes to fitness influencer content, right? Or marketing content that the fitness industry has been dominating since like the 90s. They've been doing stuff that today marketing agencies themselves cannot replicate for their own agency, right? And this is how you do it. It's agitation, frame, old way bad, new way good, call to action. Now, what I will say before I get into the breakdown of each one is that sometimes you can hit 2 birds in 1 stone. And by the way, if you want access to the exact framework where I show you how to do this, and I show you how to collect the problems, if you go look at the reverse trident market analysis, which is in module 2B, I can even confirm it. I want to say it's module 2B. Brandon, you can let me know if I'm wrong there, but it's module 2B, right? So what you'll see, what is it 2B? Okay, cool. So you'll see in module 2B, it has the last slide is the problem solution slide. And the first 3 slides are where you can find out the other problems that your competitors are solving. You can find the problems that the market has, and you can find problems from one-on-one analysis, avatar analysis or avatar interviews. That's what you guys came in on when Brandon and I were talking before we started recording. So this essentially is the structure. And so, and I see your question, Naman. I'll wrap up this point and then I'll grab your question. Basically, what I said when I'm saying you can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone is if we look at, let's say old way bad, new way good, a before and after picture, it can be on the same, right? It can be right next to each other. So you don't have to have it necessarily divided. Let's look at problem, agitation, and frame. I have a video where I say, here's how I went from 0 to 21.1K in a month. That is both problem, agitation, and a frame, because if you yourself are not at 21K a month, that agitates you and it frames me as an expert if I've achieved those results, right? Look at the influencers, and I'll explain how to do that too. Look at the influencers who post cars with, post pictures with fancy cars. There's nothing economically intelligent about having a smart car. There's nothing economically wise about, if you look at, go listen to T-Pain when he talks about why he doesn't buy fancy cars anymore. He talks about how he basically sped up and hit the brakes on his car, and it cost him like 30K to replace like brake pads and rotors or something crazy like that, right? But it's just, there's nothing economical about it. It's just a marketing ploy, right? It's all a marketing ploy. That's why these guys will rent these vehicles just to do a photo shoot. If it's because it agitates you, because they have what you do not have. Therefore, you want it. Therefore, you view them as the expert because they have a Lamborghini. That's all it is. And so you can hit multiple birds with 1 stone. The call to action, you can have it if you're doing short form, it goes at the end or as a description and you don't even say it. If you're doing a story, the whole story can be a call to action. And I'm saying not a story like I'm reading you a book, like stories the feature. And if I'm doing a long form video like this one, I'll interrupt myself like commercials. And that's an Alex Hormozy trick where he'll interrupt himself with commercials for his own product. And it's not like, hey, I'm going to flash a commercial. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, I'll do one right now. By the way, if you want to join SASO University and get access to these calls, there's going to be a link in the video below. Right. So we have a private community. We have trainings. You get one-on-one coaching via DMs in the group engagement. You get group coaching every week. You get trainings. We're about to revamp it. We're about to drop a local SEO course to help you get more results. Right. So just say I just interrupted myself for a little commercial. That's how you would do it for you. Right. Naman, what was your question really quickly? Did you have a, okay,
Hello.
I see you come off mute. Yeah. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, sorry, my bad.
You're good.
I was just gonna ask, like, so, like the whole like before and after type of thing. Like in a service-based business, like if we're productizing our service, is it just kind of like are we showing it based off the testimonial of like, you know, what was the state of the client before they joined us, and then what's the state after?
Yeah, basically that's the bottom line of it. If you look in the in SASO University itself and in the modules, if you go to step 7, I have there's two documents in there. One is how to structure your case studies and what to collect. Number 2 is the exact script to use when you're interviewing them for the case study. Exact
I
script.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And so
where was this again? Step 7?
module 7 in the Google Drive. And that's pinned at the top of the community.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take a look at that again.
And what's really cool, really quickly, what's really cool is if you look at the step, the exact script to use for the case study, you will see the questions. You're almost going to be hesitant to read some of them because we ask at one point, what were you hesitant about when you were working with me? Like, what were you nervous about when you're working with me? At what point did you realize, oh, this works? And the whole point of that is because some people, even after they work with you, they're going to be like, I don't know if this is going to work. And so by having them own that and admit to that on the case study interview, right?
Mhm.
Other people who are like skeptical, they'll be like, okay, cool. So he was skeptical even after he purchased. So if I'm skeptical after I purchased, that's very normal because it wasn't until point X that he got Y results. It wasn't until Z days went by that he got, Y results. So it's really cool because the questions in there, they they let the lead or the client own some of the parts where they're like, I didn't know, I wasn't sure. And then boom, but what were the results we got you? At what point was this real? How did this impact your life? And it's like, cool. No matter how they felt in the beginning, the end result was we crushed, they're happy.
Right.
And what was your second question?
Um, like for me right now, what I do usually do is like I'll try to like the thing is for me, it's the way I kind of show that it's working is like, the whole point of my business model is to have real estate agents like having new conversations or talking to potential people looking to buy or sell.
Okay.
So what I usually try to do is just show like those conversations in high level taking place, and then also I run a 10-day free trial, so that's why like at the end of the trial I'll ask like questions to see if like to get a gauge of like how they actually liked it and what their experience was like.
Yeah, and that's going to give you those entry level testimonials that you can screenshot and throw up on documents. Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
And
I just
if you
want to
look
make
at
sure.
if you look in the first document in step 7 where it tells you what to collect, anytime somebody messages you something positive, screenshot. That
Right.
becomes a testimonial. And then of course respect their privacy, take their name out, hide their details, but whatever. But you'll have that as a screenshot. That is social proof. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. And then just keep doing that more and more, and over time you'll have like a whole like a bunch of testimonials, right?
Well, so those are going to be just like DM testimonials. What you'll see is you want to have DM testimonials, you want to have video testimonials, and then you want to turn those into case studies. And so the case studies, which are right here, and we can even add. No, I don't want to do that. Yeah, that's what I want to do. What's going on here? Like trying to connect it. Yeah, let me just try a different way. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. So this would be case study, right? And so what you do in the video or even in the document, because everything is just you reading a screen off to the camera. In the case study, what you do is you basically say, here's a link to the interview. Here's a link to the conversation if you want to see the full interview. However, here's the rundown. Here's how we helped this industry go from X to Y in Z time frame without doing ABC. All right, without using these methods that nobody likes, without wasting time that nobody wants to waste time, without wasting money, right? Whatever it may be. And if we're doing the case study, then the problem agitation is the case study, how we help them go from this to that, right?
Right.
That's number one. If you're doing the VSL or the status delta, you can have, instead of in a case study, the link being the link to the video being the frame, in the VSL and the status delta, you can have a link to the case study being the frame. So you can be like, hey, I'm going to help you solve this problem. If you want to know why you should trust me, you can check out this video, or you can check out this training resource right here where I help somebody go from X to Y and Z time frame. So right there, you've agitated the problem. I'm going to fix this problem. The frame, if you want to know if you can trust me or why should you listen to me, here's a case study where we absolutely crushed. And then you go into the training. So the training really is, remember, look at number 5 here. We'll bring out the old trusty dusty pen. This is the goal, right? But the only way we can get them to do the call to action is if we do this in this order. This has to be the order we go in. Number 1, the problem agitation is first. Why? Because why are they listening? Number 2, frame. Why is frame number 2? Well, why should they listen to you? Think about this. Naman, have you ever been to the doctor before?
Of course.
Okay. Have you ever been to the doctor and the doctor told you the same thing maybe a parent told you like a few days before?
Yes and no.
Okay, great. So let's say your mom told you like, okay, this is the problem. You go to the doctor, he or she tells you, okay, this is the problem. It's the same problem. Now you listen because the doctor told you versus your mom, right? Maybe your mom is a doctor, but do you see my point?
Yeah.
Who their education and their results are going to dictate how much weight their words have. So we have to very early on explain, hey, I'm not just a nobody. We're all nobodies, but I'm not just a nobody, but I have some experience that will basically add weight to my words.
It's because the doctor has status delta, right?
The doctor, so status delta is the content. The doctor has status in general, but this is what we call it a frame. So it's like think about like a beautiful picture, right? The frame is usually what brings it together. The frame is what promotes it. The picture is the beautiful part, but people will go on and on about the frame around Mona Lisa. So the frame is like what's holding it together, what's making sure that this is actually as beautiful as it could be, right? The frame is what presents it.
When you're brand new,
What's
though.
what's that?
How do you establish that authority when you're just starting out and brand new and you don't have client testimonials?
Perfect. Great question. I'm going to cover that. Well, I'll just cover it right now. So before I started recording, what we talked about is when you're doing your avatar analysis, you're going to do a market analysis and a competition analysis. And so you can say part of your frame.
Yeah, I remember what you talking about.
Yeah, you can say I've reviewed the 100 best websites. I know exactly what they have and what they don't have. So let me show you what they do have. And that can be your first VSL. These are the things you need to have. Here's my personal favorite frame. So I'm going to show you the three types of frames I use. I'm going to show you why they're so effective. I will say experience, results, and free content that works. So this is how it goes. I've been doing business consultation for about 4.5 going on 5 years. That's experience. Now, let's say you don't have that. Cool. Results. I've helped people within a few weeks of working with me create such good converting content that clients will literally fly them out. This just happened. There's a coaching student named Jonathan who can vouch for this. He literally just created content. He's in, I think, Houston, and they just flew him out to North Carolina off of like one video that he created using the structure I'm sharing with you guys. So that's a result, right? I helped a lawn care guy make 28K in a week. That's a result. Let's say you don't have the result. Cool. Free content that works. Ready? This is the perfect frame if you're brand new. I do not care if you listen to a word I say. I'm going to show you how to fix this problem. It works. You can try it out and let me know. If you don't care about what I have to say, or if you have a problem with what I'm going to say, it's free. So I don't care, right? You can, I will literally put that. I can even show you some of the Facebook posts that I make that I've brought in clients. I will say, this stuff works, test it out. If you disagree with me, I DC. I don't care.
Yeah.
And by having that confidence, whether I'm confident or not, but by presenting that confidence, it still frames you as an expert, right? Even the way in which you speak can really frame you as an expert. Like people know Alex Hormozy, but even just the way he speaks is very convicting, right? Not convincing. He's very convicting. Look at Gary Vee. Same thing. He speaks with such conviction that it is almost a frame in and of itself, right? Gary Vee doesn't kick off like how many people know Gary Vee has his own marketing company? How many people know Gary Vee's on like the board of all these things? Most people are just like, oh, Gary Vee's the cool like you TikTok guy, right? But like he speaks with such conviction that people pay attention. He wasn't in his content, he wasn't going like, I made this great content, it works. Like he wasn't framing himself at all. He was just saying it with conviction. And then people were like, oh, okay, this is like the Google Ads wine guy, right? I'm like, yeah. But you don't know just from his content. So the frame, what I want you to do with the frame is basically, and I wouldn't ignore the frame, but the frame doesn't have to be as crazy as you think. Right. And so Brandon, you were talking about like working with roofers. I would do the avatar interview and then
Yeah.
pitch these guys, be like, hey, dude, I'll do this free setup for you. If you just cover the software fees, I will do all this for you. The only thing I ask for in exchange is that you give me feedback and let me document this process. So if you hate it, tell me you hate it and tell me what you want different. Right. And so you have one guy paying you 97 a month, not very much, but you will learn so much that you will basically be able to leverage that knowledge to land a paying client.
Okay. Yeah, the interview is going to be the most important part. I feel like that's going to open up my eyes to a lot of different things.
And the more you do, I probably would like limit it to 3 or 5,
Yeah.
10 at the most. But the more you do to a degree, the more accurate the data will be, right? You
Yeah.
do one interview, you could get like a complete weirdo who's like,
Yeah.
only hire undocumented people and you ain't got to pay insurance on them, right? Like you might get like one weirdo who's like, well, I don't know about that. But you hire like a few of them and they're going to be like, okay, cool. This is like the way that most people are going.
Yeah.
And what's funny is the method that I was sharing with you, Brandon, the first guy I ever interviewed came back 8 months later. And that's the dude that brought me like 31K in deals.
Oh, wow.
First guy I ever interviewed. It was really cool. So if we again we look at this is the order in which we go. And so then we look at old way bad and then the negative impacts, new way good, the benefits. So you have to explain like, hey, you're probably thinking this is the way we do it. This is either the old way or the current way. And whatever the current way is, has to be the old way. So people are currently, so like right now, what are people currently telling you to promote high level? Run ads, cold call, cold email. And I'm telling them, hey, the current way is actually the old way. They're telling you to do that because they themselves are no longer doing that, or because they have so much money they've never started a business. I had a guy argue with me in a Facebook group. This was hilarious. In a Facebook group, he literally argued with me, and he goes, "I use cold calling to scale my business." And I go, "Cool. Did you use it to scale it after COVID hit?" And it's like I don't know if you guys have seen the video. I talk about why cold outreach methods suck today. COVID basically changed everything. Everybody went home, market became super saturated. That's the short version of it. He was like, "Well, I scaled my business with cold calling." I go, "Cool. What are you doing now with it?" He's like, "Oh, well, now I'm looking for a different method because it doesn't work." I'm like, "Bro, you're arguing with me and then turning around and telling me that what I said is right." He's like, "Well, I scaled it before 2020." Okay, cool. That's what people were doing before 2020. That's like saying like I rode a horse and wagon before cars. Like, congratulations, everybody. That's what everybody was doing. Like, congrats, right? So this is the new method, right? So you got to get rid of the old way, then you got to show why the old way doesn't work. And I do, if you go look at my content, that's what I'm doing 24/7. Cold calling doesn't work because it's time inefficient and you're not a professional closer, nor do people want to spend that much time on the phone, right? If you have to call, if you have a 1% conversion rate on average, 100 calls, which to get to your one, right? Because it's 1%. How long does it take to dial 100 numbers and speak to 100 people? Because it's not just like, oh, I dialed and one person picked up and he's the one that no, it's 100 people you speak to. So you're probably dialing even more than that. So how long does that take, right? It's going to take minimum 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. If you're great at cold calling, cool, do it. You can't scale it at all, but go for it. And that's why we go into the social media structure, right? Because this structure will let you do this in less than 30 minutes a day over the course of a week. So we have the when we look at this structure down here, right? VSL is heavy on point, not two. The VSL is heavy on point 3. So basically, the VSL, you're focusing on old way bad, old way bad, old way bad, new way good. Here's a little preview of it. Work with me to get the new way. Status Delta is heavy on point 4. Old way bad. Let me go in heavily aggressively on the technical components behind new way good. That is the only difference between these two pieces of content. It is right here where the focus is. But guess what the framework is? It is still this. This is still the framework. This will always be the framework. Always. This is sales 101. Or at least sales in a post-COVID society, right? So you type up your Google document, you format it the exact same way that I format it, change it, make it your own. And then you record yourself reading it, and that becomes the YouTube video. If you want to record for free, if you can use a screen recording software. So this is where you might have to get into paying a little bit depending on what you're using. So I use OBS. It's a little technical, but it's free. It is free. You can go Loom, but you can't really record longer than 5 minutes before you have to start paying. So I use OBS, Oscar, Bravo, Sierra, OBS, and you can essentially record. I have a MacBook. You can record it right there, right? For free. You can use, if you have Zoom, if you're paying for Zoom, you can record. They're called clips. You can record a clip, which is basically screen recording. If you have Descript, they have a screen recording. That's about, depending on what you go with, it can be 10 or 30 a month. Loom can be 10 or 15 a month. They have other stuff where it's other screen recording, but you can do this for relatively cheap, if not free. So you can get free. You can even record your screen and record you separately on 2 devices and then overlay it in a video editor. The video editors that are free, CapCut, DaVinci Resolve. They are free. CapCut you can do on your phone, so there's no excuse. DaVinci, free app you can put on your computer. You can even use, like, I'm pretty sure iMovie has editors or whatever Macs come with natively. So you can get a free editor. So far, all in, if you're on a computer, you are at $0. Okay. And you want this content, by the way, in horizontal because it's going to go on YouTube. So this is $0 for free, right? At the most, you go with Loom or Zoom, which I would just go with Zoom because then you can screen record, you get the whiteboards, you can do the calls. Either way, you're looking at most $15.
So you're saying we should do this with like a presentation style video, not a talking head, or in and out?
Look at the YouTube videos I was sending you where it's like me talking and then there's just a document. I'm literally just reading from the screen.
Okay.
Yeah. And you don't have to do a Google Doc. You can do a Google presentation. Okay. You can do a Canva whiteboard and then share the whiteboard, right?
Yeah, they're all the same.
Yeah. Exactly. So right now, all in, you're at 0 to 15 a month. For me, I'm right here. If you go with Loom or Zoom and you're over here, the things I like about this, where I would tell you, hey, go with this, is you can, with Loom and Zoom, this is a cool feature I've just found out today. Even with Zoom, you can record the videos and you can share them via link. And so those can become your SOPs that you share. Or if you want to record video instructions to a VA team, you can record those very nicely. So this is really, really good money spent. Okay. But again, you can sit right there at the 0. So long form, in the description of this video, you're going to have the funnel. Now, here's the cool part. Okay. This is where it gets cool. And let me actually, I'm going to move this over here. I'll move this because that's going to get a little crazy too. I want to make sure that you guys can see everything. Okay, there we go. All right. So here's what's going to happen. In your content, you're going to tell people, if you want access to this resource, a free lead magnet, all you have to do is DM me. And this is a new thing I'm just starting. Just be sub to the YouTube account, right? So this brings us to our first by demand, DMs. So they will DM you and they will say, can I get access to this document? And you will say, yes. If they ask you, I'm going to ask, this is an open question. So you can type the response or you can speak up. This is an easy one. Okay. I promise however you view this question, I promise you're going to be overthinking it. If they ask you, can I get the document on how to land my next 5 clients, right? Or how to land my first 25 clients. This is the exact title of the content I use. How to land my first 25 clients. What do you think the problem is that they're trying to solve?
Getting more
How to get
clients.
customers.
Here, Brandon, you go first, and then whoever spoke, go second.
I said getting more clients.
Okay, who was the next person that spoke?
It's Grant. Same thing.
Yeah, so perfect. Getting more clients. So remember, if we look at step 5 training, the ultimate closing framework, what do we go through? Current state, desired state, gap. What have they tried to solve? What have they tried to do to close the gap? Why are you asking me for help? Like, why come to me? And then, hey, let me show you how to close the gap. It is you, they will come to you as an inbound lead, which we know converts around 14.7%, according to HubSpot. They will come to you now as an inbound sales lead. Because if they want the document that solves that problem, they need help solving that problem. If they ask you for that document, they view you as an expert, right? That is why we use that exact framework that we have right here. Frame number 2, right? So now this structure literally helps you close because you've agitated the problem. So they're coming to you and telling you, this is the problem I'm having. They view you as an expert, which, as you know, in the closing framework is crucial. They're indoctrinated in on your method because you've explained why the old or current way sucks and why your way is great. And the call to action makes sense because if you're teaching the new way, if you're showing them the new way, which is, again, the new way is just antithetical to what the market is, then they're going to trust you as an expert and they're going to view you as one of the sole providers. So if we look at basic pricing, economics 101, price is dictated by what? Supply and demand. So if the supply of people providing this new way is you and you alone, what happens to pricing?
Goes up.
Goes up. This is why we niche down and we solve problems in the content. This is why we don't target everybody. This is why we don't make tips and tricks videos, because all that's going to do is that's going to blend us in with everybody else. Supply increases, price decreases, workload stays the same. Everybody with me so far before I move on to the weekly content?
Yep.
Great. So what happens if they DM you? They want the document, you push them through. 14.7% is not everybody. So what's going to happen if they do not convert? Remember, follow up. How can we retarget them for free without taking time out of our day for every single lead?
With content.
We push them right to the content. The content will retarget them. Why is the content retargeting them? We're going to switch colors as we go to the weekly. Why does content retarget them?
They're seeing you over again.
Touch points, 7-hour rule, and what I just circle, problem agitation. Humans are lazy. We want to check the box. So if you are showing that you check the box every single day, when they go to hire a marketer or an automation expert or a business consultant, who are they going to hire? The guy who checks the box, or are they going to go start from scratch? They're going to go with you.
Really clever.
It wouldn't make sense to go with somebody else, right? It's like the yeah, go ahead.
My whole thought process was just going to be ads, just spend money on ads, but this is like a completely different angle. It's just so much better.
Now, and I'll show you how ads factor into this. The reason I like this, here's the, I'm going to be very, I say very open. I've shared this before, but I'm going to be pretty transparent with you guys. I get into entrepreneurial sector, whatever you want to space, whatever, right? I start with drop shipping. All the drop shipping gurus are like, oh yeah, pick a product. Here's how you validate it. And then you just run ads. It's that easy. Here's the problem. The creative is the single most important piece of that process. The targeting is the second piece that's most important of that process. Targeting is not difficult. I can watch a YouTube video right now on how to target. There's a guy in SASO University, super smart guy. He works with pressure washers. I talk with him quite a bit. He would find clients because they would be like these brand new guys at targeting, running meta ads, and their targeting would be US versus just their local area. And he would just be like, oh, hey, your targeting's off. I'll DM you and fix it. And then he would close them on running the ads for them. Super, super smart guy. So that was something about what he did. Here's the thing though. The way he learned it was, I think he said, if I'm wrong, Jacob, you can correct me, but I think what he said was he took like a really small course. I think he paid like a very little bit of money for a course, or he learned on YouTube. I think he learned on YouTube for his own pressure washing business before he started doing this. So he was like, the answer's on YouTube. The guys just don't know what they're doing. They don't know where to look, right?
Yeah.
The creatives, this is how you make your creatives right here. This is it. And I'm going to give you even more tips on how to make your creatives really good towards the end of the call that are like top tier level tricks that people mess up all the time. So we go to the weekly content retargets. How do we make the weekly content? We make 4 reels or videos a week. And then you can do like two text posts. You can do some image posts, the platforms that you are going to use. Okay. Oh goodness. What are you doing to me, Zoom? Facebook. Who knows the next one? There's 4
TikTok.
main ones. TikTok,
Instagram,
IG, and what's the last one?
LinkedIn.
No. For you, yes.
Twitter.
Naman, for you, yes. LinkedIn, yes. Not Twitter. It's gonna be YouTube.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Now,
obviously.
afterwards, then we go into Twitter, LinkedIn. These are more secondary or niche specific. And can anybody guess the last one I'm gonna say?
Aren't you trying like Pinterest or something?
Pinterest? Guys hate Pinterest. Like, it is a very
Yeah. Very girly.
very female dominated platform. You would be disgusted if you saw the numbers that these girly entrepreneurs were pulling in off of Pinterest. You would be like disgusted.
Yeah, there's girls making like millies off stickers.
Jesus
Yes.
Christ.
Yes. Reddit is another good one somebody mentioned. Naman mentioned Reddit. Here's the big thing when it comes to the platforms you choose. These are non-negotiable. I'm not saying you need to start with every single one from the beginning. If you have to pick one, you're going to pick YouTube or Facebook and YouTube. I say one, but YouTube, you're posting once a week. Facebook's going to be where your focus becomes. Which, if you're doing Facebook, then you may as well do IG, because you can just use the Meta Business Suite, which acts as a social calendar for those two. So I can go to the Meta Business Suite, click post a story, and then pick the platforms I want to send it to. So you may as well just go with these 3 to start, because these 2 take the exact same amount of time. Because instead of going to Facebook to post or IG to post, you go to Meta Business Suite. You don't even need a social media scheduling software, because you can schedule a calendar all through this, all for free. YouTube, same thing. You can schedule it for free every Friday if you want, or once a 1 to 4 times a month, right? Oh yeah, and that gives me for YouTube very quickly. Just want to run back here just to give you the iteration. This is 1 to 4x a month. So if you're like, I don't know YouTube very well, cool, do 1 a month. And so what these do is, oh yeah, and very quickly, so like these are the non-negotiables, because Facebook will target your local business owners. IG will also target local business owners, usually a little bit cleaner, but Facebook has the groups, IG doesn't. TikTok, Facebook, IG, YouTube, they all have a version of Reels, right?
Yeah.
Why is this so crucial? This is why I say do not start with running ads. If we rewind the clock to 2015, there was no social media platform that was interest-based, aside from, I don't know when Pinterest came into the picture, but Pinterest is interest-based. That's why I want to go into Pinterest. They were all follower-based. So you had to have a follower for them to see your content, right? Now everything is going to TikTok because TikTok is interest based. The For You page, it is interest based, meaning if you're interested in lawnmowers, you're going to see lawnmower content. If you are interested in, this is the one I've let's see, everyone's been seeing like the Israeli Gaza or Palestine conflict, right? If you're interested in the news, that's going to be all over your feed. It doesn't matter if you follow CNN, Fox, Daily Wire, I don't know, it doesn't matter, BBC, it doesn't matter who you follow, you're going to see that content because you are engaging with it, right? If you like furries and dressing up like, I don't know, dogs and cats and whatever weird BDSM stuff is going on, right? You're going to see that content. There's a really funny clip of this congressman, like questioning the TikTok guy. Have you guys seen this where he's like, how come every time I open TikTok it's just a bunch of gay young men? And everyone's like, dude, because that's what you're watching. It's so bad. It was really funny. He has like a whole family and everything. So it was like everybody was like, oh, that's awkward. But yeah, it's all interest based. So in 2015, when you would run ads, guess how you would run ads? Interest based. They didn't have an interest based For You page, right? In 2023, going 2024, we now have it. So you can validate, which basically means what video is getting good engagement and good response, and then check mark, that's validated. Those can now become your creatives for ads. Your YouTube videos, your VSLs, whichever one gets validated, you can run that, I kid you not, as a 20-minute advertisement on Facebook and YouTube. I kid you not. Why does this work so well? Number one, your social proof is there because you're fighting to get followers using this method, right? Hey, follow me, follow me, follow me. You're not pushing people to your offer. You're trying to, but if it doesn't work, you push to the socials. So your social's growing. Now, when you go to run ads, you have the social proof. Cool. When you go to do your creatives, you already know what works because you've measured the engagement using the For You page interest-based platforms, right?
Then ad costs get lower.
And then ad costs get lower because I don't know how many of you know this, an ad can go viral. An ad can go viral. So if a lot of people engage with it, if everybody who sees it engages with it, Facebook will literally say, cool, let it run, because people can share it and it will literally get free exposure if you have an ad go viral. So there's this guy, not too big of a fan of his newer stuff. His newer stuff is like very cuckoo, crazy. I'm not gonna go into the weird stuff, but his OG stuff, his name's Nick Cosman. His OG stuff was really good, and he had a 20-minute Facebook ad go viral. And so you're like scrolling through your feed. This is the third part of why this works so stinking well. You're scrolling through your feed, you see the content, you have no idea it's an ad because it's not structured like an ad. It's structured like content. That's why if you go look at the training for the reverse trend market analysis, when we talk about the framework, problem agitation, which I'll do some examples with you guys. That's why we never, ever, ever start with a question. Never. So like, Brandon, I know you're roofers. Naman, I know you're real estate. Grant, remind me who you're working with. T-Ho, yeah.
It's pretty broad with local services, but I'm trying to do residential contractors.
Cool, contractors. So if you go, hey, are you a residential contractor? Done. They swipe up. Gone. So it comes off as an ad, right? Hey, are you guys trying to scale your go high level? Gone. Right? Because it's very clear that what they're trying to do is they're trying to immediately go in for the pitch. So what you do instead is you use statement oriented stuff. Yeah. Naman, yeah. I think you know Cosmin stuff. The big issue I had, just being fully transparent, is he was posting stuff on his stories like "Hail Satan." I don't know if it was a joke or not. I don't play with that stuff, so I was like, I'm out of here. Yeah, and what's sad is if you look at his content before, which he deleted all of it, he does it every time he does a new campaign. It was really high quality stuff. He's like the master of status delta, hands down. But then when he was starting to get into like the Hail Satan and stuff, I was like, And he was talking about what was he talking about? He was like, sales process stuff was good. Yeah, it was fire. It was very good stuff. He talks about like money just comes to you and then you just give it to random girls on Instagram. I'm like, I was like, I don't know about that. I'm gonna stick with keeping my own money, but appreciate it. So yeah, that's kind of why I dropped off. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, but his original stuff was really, really good stuff. I think he just got into manifestation stuff, and I don't. If you guys aren't spiritual, it doesn't really matter. I just don't touch that kind of stuff. So anyway, so basically these are your go-to platforms. Meta Business Suite again, right here. Guess what we're looking at? And TikTok even has its own scheduler. Facebook has its own scheduler. Guess what we're looking at? 0. So what is 0 plus 0? It's 0, right? So we're crushing so far. I haven't used these too much. Here's what I will say. When I did drop shipping, Twitter brought an astronomical amount of traffic. So I want to revisit it. I missed the Twitter trend when I was in middle school and Twitter dropped. I just missed the trend. I didn't know how to read it. I understand how it works. I don't know. Maybe I have like some problems when it comes to Twitter. LinkedIn, it's super businessy. It's very businessy. It's very like I was on the way to an interview and I saw a dog limping and I got out and healed the dog's leg, got back in the car. I was late, got to the interview. Secretary let me in. Guess who the interviewer was? The dog, right? It's very kind of cringy entrepreneur stuff that I've seen. However, there's going to be a lot of connections there. They have groups too. LinkedIn groups suck horribly. It is just self-promotion nonstop, like no shame.
Yeah, I tried
Pinterest,
and it was ridiculous.
yeah, it's like a lot of people like it's the mindset stuff, right? LinkedIn is like all mindset stuff. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's just a bunch of like bots offshore and like it's bad.
LinkedIn Sales Navigator is great for landing like huge clients, but again, it's within a specific field or segment. So this boils down to after here, right? This boils down to, and I'll sum it up in one statement. Where does your audience hang out? That's it. If they hang out at Chuck E. Cheese, guess where you got to be? If they hang out in the
TikTok.
public, if they got to be in if they're gonna be on like at the public library, guess where you got to be? Public library. If they're gonna be at bars, bar jumping Saturday night, guess where you got to be? Bar jumping Saturday night. Okay, you have to be where your audience is. You have to be where your audience is. That is it. That's why Facebook is king, because if you're working with local businesses, guess where these guys go? Facebook. They go on TikTok because Gary Vee told them if you make a video, you're gonna be famous, right? And then they go on YouTube for research, right? That is why those are the core 4. And then these are not bad. I'm not saying they're secondary. I'm just saying these 4 are going to be good no matter who you are, and then the rest depends on your industry. And so the content type you make, problem, agitation, frame, old way, bad, new way, good, call to action. Guess what these are? These are micro VSLs. You are creating previews to your own content. And guess what your new call to action is? Check out the YouTube video where I go more in depth on it. Who's in Dom's group where I just posted? I post like some stuff in Dom's group. What does it say in the last line? I'm going to link the YouTube video for further training if you want it. That's the call to action. Drop any questions you have. Plus, I'm going to link the YouTube video if you guys want to check out the full training. For reference, I've scaled, I've grown. I'm going to pull up the exact numbers right now. In the past 28 days, I have 963 more views than usual, or 773 more views than usual. Last month, I had like under 150. So I'm almost at 1,000 views. Last month, I was at 150, which is terrible. Watch time increased 228%. Subscribers, 400% increase. All by doing this methodology, and I'm not even touching the reels yet. That starts next week, right? So imagine how the month of December is going to go for me. And I'm not saying this from a conceited point of view. Everything I'm sharing with you, you guys can very easily do. And the more that you speak to the camera, I promise you, the better you will get at it, the more comfortable you'll feel with it, the better your public speaking will be, the better your sales call will go, because it's just another day of me sitting in front of the camera. The first time you do it, yes, it will be ugly. Go back. You can go back and scroll all the way to my first couple of pieces of content. They're ugly. Let them be ugly. A baby, I talk about this all the time. A baby doesn't come out of the womb walking, talking, working a job. That would be very creepy. That'd be a scary baby, right? That'd be like Chucky or whatever. The baby comes out. We understand it's a baby. We start the baby off on milk, then it goes to solid food. We start the baby off holding their head up, then rolling over, then crawling, then walking, then running, and they fall and they get hurt. And what do we say? Do we say, wow, what a loser baby? Do we start like Fortnite emoting on the baby? No. We say, hey, hop back up. Let's try again. Right? So you're going to be a baby at whatever you start. Don't compare yourself to the 5-year-old. Don't compare yourself to the 6-year-old who has already results, right? You guys are going to be a few weeks, few months, maybe a year or two old. Even if you have a ton of experience, anytime you come into something new, you're going to be a baby in that aspect. So be patient. You're allowed to cry like babies cry. You're allowed to get angry like babies get angry and frustrated, right? You're a baby in that field. Let yourself be a baby. Let yourself mature through that process. That's what I'm going to say for the cringy inspirational stuff. All right, so the reels push to the YouTube video as a preview. So these can be previews or they can be MVSLs, micro VSLs. So if you have these points right here, instead of in the VSL where these would be a couple paragraphs a piece, or depending on the VSL status delta where you would focus, you would basically just do a drive-by of each point, right? And then again, wherever you focus here, you would focus on the short form content. Does anybody remember the length of content that this needs to be? It needs to be less than 60 seconds. Does anybody know why it needs to be less than 60 seconds?
So we can put it on Reels, stories.
It's actually YouTube, but yes, you have the exact right idea. So there's a platform that limits the time. So YouTube, you can't go over 60 seconds. So it's better to be like 55. Facebook is under 90 seconds. IG and TikTok, you can go up to 10 minutes, right? So it's best to really keep it under 60 seconds for maximum reposting. But yeah, you're exactly right. Basically, one of the platforms is trying to be their own thing. What I will say that's really annoying is that YouTube wants it under 60 seconds. TikTok wants it above a minute if you ever want to monetize your TikTok. So it's not to say that down the road you shouldn't make different content for different platforms. We talked about that in a previous call where Instagram is nurturing, TikTok is top of funnel, Facebook is a myriad of both and the YouTube, and then YouTube is strictly long form bottom funnel. However, when you're starting out for your reels, for action items, for reels, this format, repost it on every platform. So from here, this is pushing to the YouTube. Now, remember, we've also trying to grow the followers, right? This weekly is the social media profile where we're trying to push it to this content. Any questions before I move on to the daily stuff? Great. I'm going to take stunning silence as a move forward. All right. Daily, you're going to do 4 to 6 stories. 4 to 6 stories. In these stories, I'm going to bring this, actually, let me see if I can move this stuff over so you guys can see it. I'm going to try to move this a little bit. In the stories, what we're going to do is we are going to post 3 types of content. We are going to create lifestyle content. We are going to create testimonial content or repost the testimonial content. And then we are also going to post call to actions. So lifestyle, testimonials, call to action. These are the 3 main types of content. Lifestyle. If you, and by the way, you're going to do this 4 to 6 times a day. If you are like, oh, that's a lot of work. No, it's not. Watch this. I'm going to do a story right now, and you guys can go check it on my page. I'm going to do this live right now to show you. So I'm pulling up Facebook, business profile, plus story, camera, and then picture. And I'm going to put SASO U group call live now. That is a example of either lifestyle or testimonials, a little bit of both, because I'm basically showing, hey, here's what I'm doing in my life. Also, this is a part of SASO University, right? And I'm going to post that on my story, and you guys can go check it. So that took me all of what, 15 seconds? So if I do this 4 times a day, that's a minute out of my day to take a picture of what I am doing and share it. Right? That is
So
it.
the daily doesn't need to be videos, just a post.
Just a post. And you will even see if I don't know if you saw them, but when I was promoting the coaching program, I would literally take my phone, put it up to my hand so the screen was pitch black, take a picture, or you can even do like the black background. So you could do one of the two, right? It'd be a black background and me just typing white letters. That's it. Now,
Okay.
why do we put in the lifestyle? The lifestyle is twofold, okay? Number one, it shows that you are doing what you said you were doing. You're living the way you said you were living. You are achieving the goals that you want to achieve, right? It is problem agitating. So for me, I posted like I'll post where I'm taking my daughter on a walk at like 10 a.m. because I'm not working in the morning, right? That's agitating to people who have kids and can't spend time with them because they're busy at work, right? So I'm showing this is the lifestyle I get to work. I get to hang out with my daughter. I'm not doing the Lambo content because, truth be told, I don't want to attract the people who want to drive Lambos everywhere. It makes no sense, right? I want to attract the people who actually want to work, actually want to make money, actually want to take care of their family, actually want to take care of whatever mission statement they have, right? There's no point in you blowing money on a Lamborghini. To me, that's just ridiculous. I get like have nice things, but to me, there's just no point in that. Like you're buying a Lamborghini, and then meanwhile, like look at the people around you falling apart. Like I don't know. To me, I'm on a different wavelength. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I'm just saying like I can't do it. But that's the people I want to attract. Like people who are like, okay, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I'm also not telling everybody you're going to be a millionaire. I'm telling people, hey, this will allow you to replace your 9 to 5 and work only a few hours a day. To me, that's a huge appeal. Like, would you rather make 60K working 10 hours a day or 60K working 2 hours a day? To me, the answer is super obvious. I can go to the Dominican Republic with my wife, like we're going to do next summer, and I can bring my computer and I don't have to I can work 2 hours a day. I can make money while on vacation before my wife even wakes up. Right. So to me, it's like that's the appeal of my lifestyle. And then that resonates with other people who want to live that way. Right. That's the first half. Here's the second half. If your content on your stories is nonstop, buy, do you think anybody's going to watch your stories? No. So you have to have content that shows I'm a human being who's not just money hungry and greedy. I'm a human being who goes to the gym, eats, reads, has a favorite TV show. We talk about injecting your personality because by injecting your personality, it is the equivalent. It is the equivalent of niching down. You are niching down on who you are. And that sounds corny, but hear me out. If I don't make any personal content, you have no idea if you agree or disagree with me, right? You have no idea if you can relate to me. You have no idea if you can resonate with me. This is sales 101. What do they tell you? Build rapport. Rapport is half, can I relate to this person? Half, do I view them as an expert? That is rapport. Rapport is not like, oh, how's the weather? Wow, it's great over here. No, rapport is, can I relate to this person? And do I view this person in a professionally respectful manner? That is rapport. That is what true rapport is. If you talk to any master salesman, if you read any content on sales from an actual salesman, not from like somebody wearing aviators and a purple colored shirt. So that is the purpose of lifestyle. Testimonials. These are mini case studies. So Naman, you're saying how you get a screenshot from people doing 10-day trials. You can recycle those. I'm going to cover what I call the half-life or the short life of content. But you can recycle those and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah results. And then right after a testimonial, every time you have a testimonial, right after it needs to be a call to action. Here are results. We got this guy. You want them? Hit me up. Here are the results. We got this guy. You want it? DM me. You want it? Hit me in the link. What did I do for my coaching program? I said, I have 10 seats available. Offer. It's this much money. Offer ends Monday. Every time somebody bought from me, I would go, hey, 9 seats left. This is the program. This is what we do. This is what we take. This is what we don't take. Somebody would buy from me. 8 seats left. I would do that every single time. So the stories can also be by demand slightly for a limited offer. In doing that, can anybody take a guess how quickly I sold out 10 seats of a coaching program. Using stories only, I had one post and the rest was
week?
stories. It took me 38 hours.
Oh, okay. Salute to you.
It was insane. And I was like telling my wife, I'm like, it's one thing, it's cool because I'm like, I'm showing other people how to do it. I'm doing it with clients. It's really cool when I do it for myself and I'm like, still got it. Like it still kind of works, right? So by doing that, I was able to sell in 38 hours. And again, I'm not offering anything that you guys cannot offer your clients, right? If you like Naman and I have spoken several times on group calls. He knows a ton about real estate and marketing real estate. He's going to provide a better experience than I ever have a dream of doing because he is niche down, right? So Naman will be able to create an offer that will resonate better and then stories that will promote that to a community who's all real estate oriented, right? They didn't come in because Naman is over here twerking because somebody on TikTok is twerking. He didn't come in because Naman is doing memes because somebody else did memes. He's coming in because maybe he is, I don't know. No, I'm just teasing. But he's making content that resonates with the audience. So this is why 1 million viewers means nothing, because if there are 1 million nobodies in terms of client type, they're not going to buy. So 1 million times 0 is 0. Let's say you have 3,000 followers, 20% buy of 3,000. You're at $58,000 a month at night. That's at 97 a month, by the way. 3,000, you take 20% at 97 a month. That is 58K. Let's say you have 300 followers. 300 followers. Okay. Mind you, I got to 127 subscribers on YouTube. I'm not even talking about TikTok and Facebook. 127 in under 2 weeks. So how long do you think it's going to take me to hit the 300? Imagine if 20% of 300 now pay you 97 a month. That's 5K a month. 5K. And then Naman said he does a high ticket plus monthly retainer. 100% agree. I'll do high ticket, retainer to the client retention model, upsell to the client acquisition model. And I already, Naman, from what we've spoken about, I already know that's a model that you like too. If you need the MRR, I'll link a video where I can show you how to get your first 25 clients. There's a YouTube video I dropped last week. I'll link here. So far we have the lifestyle. Again, we want to reward people for opening it, showing them we're a human being, and we'll do green for that. Lifestyle. Oh, what is this? Lifestyle, showing them we're a human being. Testimonials, showing what we're doing works. Call to action. So these two are tied very closely. You can recycle these. YouTube, you can repost a YouTube video, not the same one, but the same concept, probably once a year. Short form content, you can probably repost it once a month or once a quarter, I'd say is safe, once every 3 or 4 months. Stories, you can repost those suckers every single week, because the shorter form the content is, I'm not talking about length as much as availability. So a story is only up for 24 hours. So you can repost that a bunch of times because people might have missed it. Reels you can repost because on TikTok specifically, Reels specifically, they're only promoted for like a few days unless they go hyper viral. And then YouTube, there's some algorithm play to it, but I wouldn't repost the same content. I would remake it and adjust it slightly, improve it. And guess how you can improve it? The dynamic lead magnet, you update it, they have to update it, and then you have the new video. And you can learn as you go. And then the stories all push to the call to action, which is, hey, I have a new YouTube video, I have new content, or I have a new offer in the funnel, right? I don't know why this is here. So obviously this being the goal, right? And the stories can also push to the DMs, and where we already know with the DMs, we can push to, you can see how it just cycles over and over, right? Any questions on the daily stuff before we go to the by demand?
Yeah, so seeing as how I'm just starting out, how would I go about testimonials? How would you recommend I go?
What you would do is you skip it temporarily. Look at that video I sent you on getting your first, and let me just link that very quickly because I know a few of you had the same question. What you would do is you would basically you would assume all the risk to get your first 25 clients. And I have a video that goes way in depth on that just so we don't go over time. And I'm going to go ahead and link that here. And if you're watching this on YouTube, all you have to do is go on the channel, and you'll see the fastest way to reach your first 25 clients. That's the fastest way to reach. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Fastest way to reach your first 25 clients. And I'm going to post that in the chat right now. If you guys want to pop it open and save it for later, or at least you can recognize the thumbnail if you ever go back and watch it. So you would basically assume all the risk, land your first 25 clients by assuming the risk. It's not as easy as me just saying, assume the risk, you'll get them. It's in that. If you're in SASO University, you go to module 4, is it 4? I'll tell you right now. Let me make sure I have it. I want to say it's 5 actually.
And is this with the agency account on GHL or just a regular account?
You don't even need an account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this will still work. And if you go to module 5, it's the advanced outbound prospecting techniques. You'll see number 1, the link to the training that I just linked the YouTube video for, but you'll see the document where there's a shortcut to it. That's part 1. So the YouTube video is part 1. Part 2, where I give you the exact scripts to use for both DMs and your marketing audit Loom videos, is in the training right after that. So you guys being in SASO University, you already have access to the exactly what to do and exactly how to do it. If you're on YouTube, you're going to see what to do, why to do it. The how is in SASO University. And see how I just interrupted myself for another advertisement? That's how you promote in the long form content. Because people are going to be like, oh, okay, I'll do it on my own. That's what's going to happen. Someone's going to go, I'm going to do it on my own. And then they're going to be like, it doesn't work. Okay, let me join. And then they'll join. They'll be like, oh, well, I just landed 10 clients. Like, it pays for itself. So for the daily stuff, or the by demand stuff, let's go with a kind of limit on the colors here. We'll go with a yellow, I guess. So we've already covered DMs. When somebody DMs you for the document, what to do. We've already covered stories. You basically create stories every time you have a testimonial, right? Or if you have a limited offer, every testimonial screenshot becomes a story. What you do is, in your phone, because you're probably going to screenshot them in your phone, put it under an album, and then literally just rotate those. And you can schedule out all of that in Meta Business Suite for 1000% free. So again, we're still at free dollars here, right? Then what you're going to do is new followers. Why would somebody follow you? Somebody break it down for me. Why would somebody follow you?
Interested in the content?
Perfect. What content brought you in? That is going to be, you're going to DM them and be like, hey, thanks for the follow. By the way, what content brought you in? And because you're probably referring to this content, right? If it was the YouTube, we already follow the YouTube. The YouTube goes to the DM. The DM goes to the social media profile, right? But if they see these, because we already talked about how they're for you page, they're interest based, and they follow you, you're going to DM them and you're going to be like, hey, thanks for the follow. Every single person that tells me they sub to my account, by the way, I kid you not, I will message them and be like, it means the world to me. I don't know how other people do it. I fight for every single follower I have. I promise you that. Anytime someone follows me, I will DM them and be like, it means the world that you followed me. Any problems you have, let me know. I'll make content for you. I fight for my followers. So when they come in, I'll DM them and be like, hey, I really appreciate the follow. Like, what brought you in? They'll tell you this piece of content, right? Somebody tell me what the first line of our content always is. I'll give you a hint. It's in the top right of the screen. Problem agitation. They will literally tell you, this is the content that brought me in, which will tell you the problem that resonated with them, which will tell you where they're stuck, which will tell you where they want to go, which will tell you how to bridge the gap, which will tell you how to close them.
Interesting.
Yeah, no mind. You want to ask a question? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Let me pull that up really quickly. You're talking about the where is it? The 100+ persuasive copywriting formulas. Let me send it to you. I'm telling you, how much do you guys think I'm doing this that I like know exactly what you're talking about? It is, I think it is Quest actually. Quest, qualify. Well, that's qualify, understand, educate, stimulate, transition. The one that I'm referring to that resonates is let me see. It is this crazy one. It's like AICPBSAWN. Yeah, attention, interest, credibility, proof, benefit, scarcity, action, warn, now. That's exactly what I use to sell my program. So if you look at that link, click that link. What you'll see is a bunch of frameworks that you can use for your social media scripts. Only thing I will tell you is never, ever, ever, ever start with a question that will just put a red flag on your back in terms of I'm running an ad. The other one not to use, because there's one in there, definitely do not use. Yes, that one is probably the best. You can, I think it's a little redundant because they're like, yeah, it's a little redundant, but simplify it. Another really good one is Pastor, it's Pastor, but I'm saying Pastor to make sure people know it's spelled with an O, not an E. Personal, amplify, storytelling, testimonials, offer, and response, which is response, by the way, is call to action. So what you'll see with those acronyms is a lot of them just like rename things, like response is call to action. There's no point. They just do it to make it work with the acronym, right? There's one that's called a BAB, before, after, bridge. So it's like before, after, here's how we bridge the gap, right? So if you go through those, I would test out different formats. There's one in there that every influencer uses, and it just makes me sick to my stomach to see. What, Naman, do you remember which one in there is the one that everybody uses? I think Quest might be the one everyone uses, right? Yes, I think Quest is the one that everyone uses.
I'm pretty sure you use
what
Quest. The only thing I remember is like you were just saying like don't. If I ask one thing is that you guys don't use Quest or something like that.
Don't use Quest because if basically the way they qualify is they go, do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? Are you a business? Are you a entrepreneur trying to stuck at 10K a month? Are you blah, blah? They qualify through a question. That is why we don't use it, because it's a question. And then they go into understand. I understand how you feel, right? Did you get into an automobile accident? Are you now frustrated that you didn't get the compensation you deserve? At lawyer, and lawyer, what we do is we specialize with this. Call now to see if you qualify for our help. It's every ad ever follows Quest, and it is so painful. It is a painful watch. And if you're thinking everybody does it, I should do it too, go ahead, try it out. I'm trying to save you guys time, but try it out. You'll come back and be like, that was a major mistake, because it's a major mistake. So let's see so the new followers, you DM them, they hear the ideas, and then that will also allow you to basically pull them into the close. So this is the strategy when it comes to making content. So once a month, you're going to make a YouTube. Then you're going to make micro VSLs to promote it. Then stories about your lifestyle, your content, your testimonials, call to actions. And then what you're going to do to really fast track it, and we can cover it more in the next video or the next training. But what you do to fast track it is, if you go look at the step 4 training in SASO University, is you use the ultimate downsell, right? You DM prospects or you do value bombs in groups. The DMs, you follow the exact framework I talk about. You follow the exact scripts I've already given you. I cover in that training. If they don't want it, you push them to social media. That's in module 5. Module 5, it is the second training. The exact scripts I use, it covers the ultimate downsell. Module 5, training 2. Module 5, training 2. It is free. You have the document already in there. And then for the group engagement, what you do is you make value bombs in groups following this framework right here. And you don't say, DM me for an offer. Your call to action is always, always, always in a group engagement in a public setting. I have more training here. Check it out on YouTube. And then you can say, I'll link the YouTube video in the comments. Plus, if you have any questions, DM me. I'll answer all of them out in the public.
So how much content should we have established before we start value bombing in groups?
I would say 2 weeks worth.
Okay.
Your first 2 weeks of content are going to get 0 engagement. Okay. That's not the point of the content. The point of the content is validating us as an expert, as someone who's doing what they're saying. So the first 2 weeks of content
doesn't matter if nobody sees it.
Does not matter. Does again.
So sorry.
No, go ahead.
So it's the micro VSLs within short form content a few times a month, and then like also
a few times a week.
So that would just be all of your short form content would be considered a VSL.
Micro VSL.
Yeah, a micro VSL.
Yeah. Promoting the main VSL that you created.
So all the short form content or micro VSL should try to push them like with the call to action to the YouTube video.
Perfectly said.
All right.
Because what's going to happen is they're going to be interested, they'll go to the video will convince them, yes, this is a good choice. And if
Yeah,
you
it makes sense. I just
if
had
you
to like,
butcher the framework, it'll tell them get away from this guy. He doesn't know what he's doing.
yeah, for sure.
And remember, you could tell them, like, look at the doctor analogy. You could tell them, you know, you're fat, your heart is dying, eat healthy, work out. Until you frame yourself, they're not going to care. Again, we talked about this before the recording started. I think it was before you joined. We talk about what people want versus what people need. Okay. People, what they say they need is really what they want. And we'll do a little group activity. Don't answer out loud. I'll answer. Okay. Do you work out as often as you should? No. Do you eat as well as you could? No. Do you get enough sleep as frequently and as consistently as you should? Well, I have a baby, but even before that, no. Why? Do I need to improve those things? Yes. But we live our lives the way we want to. So until what we need becomes what we want, we will never change. The reason people change, and this is why entrepreneurs, really bad ones, will say solve pain points, is because they go, I'll solve the pain point. This is what's causing the pain. And so back in the day, as in pre-COVID or even during COVID, people would be like, oh, okay. Now you have to say, listen, this is the order in which we do it. This is why the order matters. This is what we do, in what order, and why. And usually what that starts with is we have to stop doing these old ways that don't work. Here's the new way of what works. Here's why the old way doesn't work. I can prove you the old way works. Old way does not work because you have probably these symptoms stemming from doing the old way. I can show you the new way works because I have a case study, or the case. This is why the new way works because of statistical information, because of, personal experience, because of a case study, because of whatever, right? And before you think, well, what if my frame isn't good enough? What if my new way isn't good enough? Always remember, okay, there are people who believe, I don't care if you agree or disagree, just bear with me. There are people who believe the earth is flat, and there are people who believe the earth is round. Your frame does not matter. They did a study. I've talked about this before. The coffee shop. All you have to have is a reason to cut in line, and people will give it to you. It doesn't matter if it's a good or bad reason. But if you have no reason, they will not give it to you. So you have to have a reason. There are people who believe the most wild. There's people who believe Bigfoot is roaming around in Colorado. There's people who believe the Loch Ness Monster is real. I mean, whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. There are people who heavily agree despite overwhelming evidence not in their favor. So whether you're a flat earther or a glober, doesn't matter. There's people who agree and disagree regardless of how much evidence you think you have or don't have. I'm just saying that to prove the point of it doesn't matter what your claim is as long as you back it up. Now, don't be a fake and don't be a scam. But if you are truly believing what you are promoting and what you're promoting works per the case studies and the results you're getting, then yeah, you're onto something.
It kind of reminds me of a lot of like those, I mean, this is probably exactly what it is, but a lot of those marketing influencers that have like their super stern ideas that they like will not like budge from, kind of like Grant Cardone or that one guy who doesn't believe in like leverage or debt.
Oh, Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey.
Yeah. Like they have these like super like extreme views and they just won't budge from it. So, but it works.
They're antithetical. So that's where
Yeah.
I came up with the term antithetical claim. I did not come up with the concept, but nobody was coining it. They're basically just saying like, oh, oppose the market, be yourself, be unique. I'm like, no, you have to be so antithetical that people love you or hate you. That is what you want. And I'll prove it again. If somebody hates you, I promise you somebody loves you. I'll give you a horrible example. Hitler. How many people would probably say they have a strong disdain for who Hitler was? And yet, does he not still have followers to this day?
That's a fair point.
Probably the most hated man. There's people who think that what Genghis Khan did was good because his gene pool was maybe cleaner of disease and infection, and maybe it saved, the millions of people. He took out like a 10% of the world population. Maybe it was for a good thing because it helped. There are people who will defend all of these views, right? So if you are loved or hated, you just have to have a, and they call it a tribe, right? You have to have a following that is built upon core principles. So for me, if you want to talk about what my antithetical claim is start with social media. Do not start with cold calling because it's a waste of time. Don't start with cold emailing because you're just regurgitating scripts and burnt and using already burnt leads. It's like overcook. It's like cooking pizza 5 times in the oven. You're just dealing with ash at this point. Don't start with ads because you have no way of validating your messaging unless you like spending money.
So your click-through rate and your conversion rates on the ads would validate your CTR.
Yeah, it would. Here's the issue with that. The dropship, and I'm a victim of this. The dropshipping community told us that if we run ads, it'll work. It's just a matter of testing. What they didn't tell you is that everybody and their mother did that. So the platforms realized we're making a lot of money and we can award this to higher bidder. Pixels, which are the social media marketing platforms, software, they're literal AI. Pixels reward bids. So the more you bid, the more you will place. That's number one. Number two, when you're testing with your creatives, you have what's called a relevancy score.
True.
Excuse me. Relevancy score says if your content sucks and no one engages with it, not only does the content take a hit, but your pixel takes a hit, which means when your pixel goes to bid money, even if you bid more than the number 2 guy or the number 1 guy, you are still going to be outbid because you now have a score related to you. So they don't want to promote your crap content. Relevancy score. They have a hook score. If the first 2 seconds of your video don't perform a certain way because your content sucks, you're not going to go anywhere. They have a part of the relevancy score is the quality of the content. So if you have a terrible editor and you upload it with really bad, I don't know what they consider, but I'd assume video quality, metadata, file size, you're going to get hit. You're going to get dinged on that. So this is why if you're going to ads, what you want to do is you want to start with PPC because it's way, way easier. But if you're going to social media ads, the creative and the targeting are very important. And that's why I said the creative is so important, because if the creative is done properly, then the relevancy, the hook, the content quality, all of those things have already been validated. And you have done so without hurting your pixel. So the way that you would create your first pieces of creative is that you would do this content for a while. I get leads every single day from this. And the leads that I'm pricing between 3 and 10K, 4 and 10K. And then from here, I can validate content, which I'm going to start my short form very early this week. So I started the YouTube first, the group engagement, pushing to the YouTube, posts on Facebook. Now I'm going to go to the Reels, which will go on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, which will increase my exposure, all promoting the YouTube, which will then all promote them to want the document or hop in the funnel. Either way, they come to me in some way, shape, or form. At the bare minimum, I get watch hours on YouTube and I can start monetizing the YouTube. Within like 2 or 3 weeks, I'm already a quarter of the way to the not a quarter of the way. I'm already like I'm over a 10th of the way to the subscribers that I need, I think. So I'm already hitting really good metrics. If I keep this up, I'll probably be, if I keep up this progress, I'll be monetized within 3 or 4 months. So then that's another stream of revenue. So now my lead magnets are literally making me money, which is crazy. And so you're talking about the loss leader. So instead of having a loss leader to bring in clients, my lead magnet is making me money. And again, we've already reviewed the pricing of everything. At the very, very, very most, you're spending $45 a month. And then you can hand it off. And you really don't need to hand it off to an editor. Just edit it in CapCut. It's really not hard. There's thousands of tutorials. It is really not hard. But let's say you want an editor, you're looking at 500-ish a month, $15 a reel. Really? You don't need to edit the YouTube videos at all. I don't care what anybody tells you. And then from there, like, that's it. And so it's not that easy and that simple, but this process, yes, it is. And that's why we have these calls weekly, because every time we solve a problem, a new problem arises. Every solution unlocks a problem. That's why I don't have a problem putting this content on YouTube, because the people who take it and they get some results, they're going to go, cool, you help me get results and break this problem, but I have more problems. Cool, join SASO University. See that there's another shameless plug, right?
Yeah. So you said have at least 2 weeks of content before we do the content or the value bombs in the groups. So eight
Yeah.
reels and like a few story posts.
I'd say 8 reels. The stories don't matter because no one's going to see them.
Yeah.
1 YouTube, 8 micro VSLs pushing to the 1 YouTube minimum. And that's another thing you want to have minimum, I'd say a week under your belt. You don't want to be like brand new because people will be like, oh, it's a
Won't
brand new
look right.
account, spammy. Yeah. And this is also why we say not just reels. So if you're going to post, like, let's say you did 6 pieces of content before you did your group engagement, I would do 2 and 2 videos, 2
Okay.
images, 2 text posts. It was just a bunch of videos and people love videos. Cool. They'll watch it. Here's the problem. If they hate videos, they're never going to consume it. If you go
Okay.
video, image, text, now you're on multiple mediums, right? So now they can watch the image and cool, they keep moving. They can read the text post, cool, keep moving. They can watch the video if they want, cool, they keep moving. And if the video is under 90 seconds for Meta, then it will also go on the FU on the FYP page, right?
F you.
Yeah, FU page, FYP page. So this is the exact layout iteration. And then what's cool is, let's pull out our highlighter really quickly. This all right here. Because if you use a social media page, not a profile, like I've been telling people, guess what this does?
Can't see on that side.
Is that better? Oh, you might have to move your, yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's me. My bad.
VA does this because they can access your page and now they can do this 24/7. All you are doing, let's get out the highlighter. All you're doing is scheduling this, recording and scheduling this, recording and scheduling this. That, and then of course, creating these. So that becomes your workload in the content creation game.
We're doing all this from a Facebook page, not a profile.
Correct.
So we join the groups as a profile or as a page.
As a profile, and you push to the page.
Okay.
So, hey, I've got content on my page that helps out with this. Oh, I can answer this question. I got more on my page if you want free help. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
And you
Is
can
the
even make a profile. You can make a new profile, and you can, if you don't want it to be yours, and then you can also, whatever content you make in the new business profile, you can repost from your business page onto your profile so they can still see it that way.
Yeah. And now is the page a business page or is it like a personal brand type page?
Personal brand type page, because then they
Okay.
still see your face. They know, cool, this is him.
Okay.
And then it also looks like a profile. So when they are DMing, it looks like they're DMing with you if you do end up automating that.
Okay. So going through multiple niches, you clearly have to stick with one.
Say that again.
Can't really go after multiple niches. You have to choose one and like be committed to it 100%.
100,000%. And the reason that you stick to one niche is because your marketing becomes targeted, your content becomes targeted, your package now becomes more templatized, which means it's, let's say, 80 to 90% template and 10 to 20% you manipulating it to the client, which means your fulfillment becomes much, much faster. Your fulfillment becomes faster, meaning you're able to get more case studies faster. You're able to fulfill more clients in a year. The benefits are just, they're immeasurable, right?
Yeah.
If you go with let's say you go with 5 different industries every time. So number one, the case studies, they don't apply to each other. So you're starting from scratch every time. You have no templatized structure, which means you have to have new SOPs, new structures, new pitfalls to avoid, new processes, right?
The only thing I was worried about is the universe of it, there's a limit, and especially with multiple companies.
Very glad you said that. Very glad you said that. There's a limit. Here's a problem with what and I'm not trying to be picky on you, but I used to be the exact same thing. I used to be the exact same way. This is what my mentor told me. People think that when they don't niche down, that they have all of those potential clients. Here's the problem. When you target nobody, you get nobody.
Yeah.
And so what happens is when you niche down, you remove competition. Think about this. Let's say you want to do marketing. How many marketers exist?
100 billion.
Cool.
What I'm saying is there's only one you. So if you put yourself into doing one thing, you can't do something else. That's what I'm trying to say. I know you have to niche down. Niching down is important.
Oh, okay.
to
You're
one
so you're
person.
saying so rephrase it again just so I understand because I think it's
So
me
for
not understanding.
example, if I want to have more than one businesses, I know each business needs to niche down specifically to target one specific customer. But since it's going to be a personal brand, that personal brand, I can't have multiple businesses.
Oh, yes, you can. Yeah. I'm actually in 2024. What I'm doing is I'm going to make another business page, and it is going to be specifically for me scaling a SaaS agency specifically for lawn care. I'm going to document the whole thing on YouTube.
Okay.
And guess what? It's going to be another marketing tactic that makes me money.
So then what's that page going to be called?
It'll be my name,
So you're going to have two personal brands.
and I'll direct them to the specific at. So the at will probably be different.
Okay.
And what you can do is, so you can go personal brand. I could say like whatever the company name would be. I could say, hey, check out my page at Alec Roy, or I could say, hey, check out my page, at
Branded roofing.
Yeah,
Something,
exactly.
Something niche. Okay.
Right. And so you can have the multiple offers. Yeah. Now, again, efficiency wise, what's the best thing to do is to perfect one, scale it to the moon, sell it, or dissolve it as you transition into the new one and retain your audience in one way, shape, or form. But here's the cool thing. When you pick roofers will exist forever.
Yeah.
So you can either A, sell it off, or B, you can keep it forever and automate it. And now your work becomes even less.
Yeah. So what we're doing in the other mastermind element is we're creating association. So like the association of whatever niche. So
Yeah.
that's why we're leading with the loss leader, because you can't just sell an association on its own, but you can sell it as an upsell. So I was even thinking like the Roofers Association of America, the Southeast. And they get people on a recurring basis on that, and then from there they get access to the softwares, which makes it more sticky.
Here's the issue I have with that. Associations are becoming very saturated. And so if you look at something super well respected like Six Sigma, there's so many associations in achieving your Six Sigma certification. There's only 2 that are actually respected. And so what you'll see is people will look up and they'll be like, hey, which one should I join? And they'll be like, join these 2, don't join those, because they have no true accreditation. And again, I'm only going off of what you're telling me. I don't know the exact details of the program, but I'll say, here's the 2 things I'll say. Number 1, look at the marketing model. Is it reflective of things that are actually working? Again, I don't know because I'm not in that program. Yeah. Number 2, what I would say is in terms of the scalability, is it really there? So if you're talking about an association, again, here's my concern there. It would be you have to build the association and then you have to funnel that into. So it's like, imagine doing this whole funnel twice for a funnel in and a funnel out. Now, here's the thing. With a loss leader, you're going to lose money. With the business, you don't know if you're going to make money. And that's not an insult to you. That's just in general, right? You have major corporations failing. Look at Ford in 2012. Look at every major car detailer or car manufacturer in 2012. I think all of them but Ford had to be bailed out, right? It was like GMC, Chevy, Chrysler. They all had to be bailed out. Massive companies. How many companies start up and fail very quickly, right? So it's not to, again, I'm not saying this to insult you. I'm just saying this to say, what's the safest way that you can start and scale? In my opinion, it's how can I do this without spending money? And so it's like, cool, how do we do that without spending money? Well, we go with social media.
Yeah.
So that's
but I
where
feel like
kind of,
it's all the same. Like all this can be modeled towards building anything. It's just this is all marketing. Yeah.
Yeah. So the question now becomes, do you want to, and that leads me back to the first point, right? Do you want to build something that makes you money, or at the very worst does not make money, or do you want to build something that loses money by design? So that's where my concern would be. And I'm only saying that because when I started with drop shipping, everyone was like, oh yeah, this is normal. Like you have this, you have built-in loss, but don't worry, you'll make it back. No, $8,000 later, I'm like, okay, cool. This sucks. But I almost quit being an entrepreneur, came back, and I'm like, okay, let me use my own logic to map this out. And I'm not the only person who thinks this way. If you look up Vince Ryack on YouTube, he covers a very similar social media structure. that resonates a lot with. I love his stuff. I talk with him not very often. I've spoken to him a few times. Really, really cool guy, very down to earth. And then he partnered with Liam. I don't know his last name, but I think they have like a YouTube channel, Vince and Liam. Really cool stuff. And they talk about using this exact model. And they don't even touch paid ads. And they're pulling 6 figures a month.
Yeah. When I say loss leader, I said kind of loss leader. It's really a self-liquidating offer. You might lose $1, but you make it up for it on an instant upsell. And
Yeah,
then
so like people do. Yeah, people do this. It's called like a in a funnel. You call it a tripwire. So they'll come
exactly.
in.
That's what Tripwire, exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, that is I'm not in the program you're in, so I have no idea. But what I will tell you is it's a very 2020 model. It's if it's not outdated, it's becoming outdated very, very quickly. So a lot of people are moving to this lean, low drag funnel, no loss leader because the loss leader isn't needed. Because I can show you right here where most people would do an ebook loss leader. I'm able to come in and say, hey, check it out. My ebook is free. It costs me zero to produce.
The ebook in and of itself, the value of that has been dwindled. Like nobody cares. Everybody has 1,000 ebooks they download for free. But we're doing physical products like a t-shirt or like a sticker, bumper sticker, or something that would resonate with that audience.
Right.
That they actually get in the mail.
So check it out. So what and again, you go your model, but ask yourself this: what would resonate more? A sticker that says like roofers for Trump. I'm just saying roofers for Trump because you're just a conservative model, right?
Yeah.
Or a Google document that solves the exact problem they're trying to solve.
Probably a video that solves the exact problem they're trying to solve.
And then to follow up with it, logistically, what's easier to create and distribute? A Google Doc or the stickers? And I'm not diminishing the stickers at all.
Yeah. I think both would be different angles to entry points for the funnel.
But right, not the funnel, logistically, which one is easier to deploy? Is it easier to share a link?
Yeah, the virtual one is obviously easier, but that doesn't mean you want to limit yourself. You go have multiple points of entry.
Yeah, agreed. But what I'm saying, so then from that point of view, which one can we then start for free and then scale into potential loss leaders? Like Hormozy talks about scaling into, like his book is a loss leader for him, right? His training is a loss leader for him. I know ebooks suck, but when Hormozy drops something, you buy it. And we all know if he priced that at $50, we would be, if you had to sell hair and get a pot to piss in, so to speak, we would all do it to buy that book, right? He's so good at what he does. So I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying is chronologically, if we look at your actionable items in terms of steps to take and deliverables, that's where this model comes into play. And then using the training you're going through, have that in your back pocket, and you go, cool. And I cover that in the if you look at the training where it's like 0 to 21.1K, the last step I say is optional, which is once you have a healthy budget, let's say I put the number 3K a month in there. Now you can go into things where you're going to lose that money up front, but you will recoup on the back end. So that's where I would say, cool. Once you're at that healthy point, you've gotten there with your first 25 clients, which I also sent you guys that training in the link. 25 clients, you're at 5K. Cool. Now that I have 5K, let me keep 2K reinvested into the business, maybe pay myself a little bit, and I can take this 3K and now I can go into the loss lead, which is the t-shirts and the stickers. Again, my issue with that is you basically get into promoting the loss leader and then the upsell. So it's just a very saturated approach. Not saying it doesn't work, right? Marketing is saturated in general. We're still here making money, but that's where I'd say start with free. That way, let's say you go with that model and you're like, didn't go how I wanted it. You're safe because you're still making that 5K monthly recurring, right? If you switch the order, then it's like, cool, I'm losing money. Now I'm playing catch up and the money has to come from somewhere. So it usually comes from the personal accounts. And again, here's what I'll say as I wrap up that idea. If I were in your position, there probably would be zero talking me out of it until I went and did it myself. And either A, it worked and I said, cool, it worked, or B, it didn't work. And I go, okay, cool. What do I need to do? So if I were you, conditionally speaking right now, I would follow my method. However, if you and I switch spots, I promise you, as stubborn as I am, I would do it my own way. And I would either A, make it work and it would work. And I'd be like, cool, yeah, I was right. Or it wouldn't work. And I'd be like, let me go back and do this, let me go back and go do this guy's model, right? So whatever you
I'm
do,
just gonna put it all together all at once and see what happens.
there you go. That because at the end of the day, the only way we truly, truly learn is through experience, right? Because you might do it and you might realize, it doesn't work, but let me tweak it. Oh, now I got it to work. Or you might go, this sucks, I'm out. You might try my model and go, this sucks, I'm out, right?
No, I mean, your model is marketing. It's a good way to be omnipresent in the market and to be position yourself as the authority. It's marketing.
Yeah. Grant, did you have a question? Hey, see you, Naman. I appreciate you coming out.
Yes, just two quick questions.
Sure.
I don't know where I wasn't paying attention in the funnel. So the document, it would be promoted in the long form YouTube VSL aside with like the your call to action page to like book a meeting.
Yeah. You want me to show you right now?
Yeah, sure.